The Dakar Rally is one of the most challenging and prestigious competitions in the world of motorsport. It demands not only skill and endurance from its participants, but also the use of reliable and high-tech equipment. Among the numerous vehicles in this rally, one of the most prominent and successful has been the Mitsubishi Pajero. The Pajero entered the Dakar Rally 26 times and achieved a total of 12 victories, with an unprecedented 7 consecutive wins, earning it the title of the King of the Desert among motorsports fans worldwide. Let's delve into the brief history of Mitsubishi Pajero's participation in the Dakar Rally, a story of courage, innovation, and an unwavering will to win. The Dakar Rally was the brainchild of French adventurer Thierry Sabine. Although the vast desert stage was its most emblematic feature, stunning natural landscapes of Africa and mountainous and dense forest areas were also part of the program. "I will show you the door to adventure. Only you can open it. I can take you along if you wish," Sabine once said. Initially, only a few dozen cars participated in the rally, but with each passing year, the rally's popularity grew, attracting more participants and car manufacturers. Before Mitsubishi's arrival, Japanese manufacturers like Toyota and Nissan had already tried their luck in the rally, but did not achieve significant success. During the post-war years, Mitsubishi Motors obtained a license to produce Jeeps. The Japanese automaker had set its mind on manufacturing an original cross-country four-wheel drive vehicle to meet new global needs. In 1982, the Mitsubishi Pajero had been launched in Japan. Let's talk a little bit about the model's name. The Pajero nameplate derives from a small wild cat found in Argentina, but ironically, this word has a negative meaning in Spanish. Great job, marketing department. Therefore, in North and South America, the name Montero, meaning mountain hunter, was adopted. In the UK, the name Shogun was used for a more aggressive and prestigious image of the car. I'll use the name Pajero because that's what true samurai call it, and it'll simply be easier that way. Returning to the car, it was a new concept four-wheel drive cross-country offering outstanding off-road capability, superior on-road maneuverability, and comfort. Eventually, it became a hit in the Asian market, and participating in the Dakar Rally became a suitable strategy for spreading the model worldwide. For its first attempt at the 1983 Dakar Rally, the company opted to participate in a class where only a few modifications to the production cars were allowed. The automaker fielded 4 such Pajeros with canvas tops in the event, each equipped with a modified 2.6-liter gasoline engine. In 1983, crews had to cover a route of 9,257 kilometers. At that time, there was no rest day until the finish in Dakar, making the event one of the hardest challenges for the participants. It was one of the toughest rallies so far, with a completion rate of slightly 32%. Scottish racer Andrew Cowan was the driving force behind the Mitsubishi Pajero debut at the 1983 Dakar. He won the rally in the non-modified production car category, finishing 11th outright among a field of 385 entrants. The Mitsubishi Motors team also won the Best Team prize, which was a great reward for their first Dakar rally. The overall winner was famed driver Jackie Ickx and his co-driver Claude Brasseur in a Mercedes-Benz 280 GE. In 1984, the team made the decision to move into the modified production car class in its attempt to secure the overall win. It was also decided to establish Rally Art, the sports division of Mitsubishi Motors, with Andrew Cowan, mentioned earlier, as its founder. For the upcoming Dakar, they based their car on a model with a metal top and replaced the engine with a 2.6-liter turbocharged gasoline engine. This increased power from 110 horsepower to 170 horsepower, and parts of the drivetrain such as the transmission, the clutch, and the rear differential were all reinforced. The carbon fiber doors and hoods significantly reduced weight, and based on the previous year's experience, the suspension was modified with double shock absorbers on each wheel. In 1984, the number of entrants increased to 400 for the first time. Despite all the improvements, the Pajero struggled to compete with the powerful prototypes of the Porsche team, who became the main rivals of the Japanese for the next few years. The high-clearance, all-wheel drive Porsche 911 could reach an impressive 200 kilometers an hour on straight sections. That year, Porsche crews won 13 out of 21 special stages. The crew of René Medge and Dominique Lemoyne dominated the event, taking a well-deserved victory. Within an ace of success, Mitsubishi was determined to take the overall victory, and the engineers got the green light for management to build a full-fledged prototype. The first prototype was based on a modified production car utilizing a ladder frame, but with an advanced front shaft which essentially extended the wheelbase and improved the front-to-rear weight balance. Engine power was increased to 225 horsepower, and changing the final gear ratio allowed a top speed of 185 kilometers an hour. In 1985, the Porsche team began experiencing problems from the beginning, and the Opel Manta, driven by Belgian Guy Coussol, took the lead. However, they faced navigation mistakes and engine issues in the second half of the race. But you know who demonstrated flawless performance, endurance, and technical reliability? Indeed, for the first time, a Japanese manufacturer succeeded in achieving an overall victory. The Pajeros, driven by Zanaroli and Cowan, finished the competition in an impressive first and second place. This victory marked a significant milestone in the team's history and proved that the Mitsubishi Pajero could compete with the world's best off-roaders. In 1986, Mitsubishi aimed for their second consecutive victory. Participants faced the longest Dakar Rally raid in history, spanning approximately 15,000 kilometers. Mitsubishi started well, but technical issues began to cost them time. Having resolved last year's reliability issues, two Porsche 959s, driven by René Medj and Jackie Ickx, took the lead. However, the event was overshadowed by a terrible tragedy. On January 14, 1986, a sudden sandstorm in the dunes of Mali engulfed a helicopter monitoring the course, with event organizer Thierry Sabine as well as 4 people accompanying him. The helicopter crashed a few kilometers from Gormarau. Sabine had previously emphatically stated that the competition should continue even under such tragic circumstances. As for Mitsubishi Motors, despite setting 12 fastest times on a total of 23 special stages, it wasn't enough to surpass their competitors. Mitsubishi finished third on the podium, with René Medj and Jackie Ickx's Porsches taking first and second place. Despite losing its founder, preparation for the 1987 Dakar Rally continued under the leadership of TSO, or the Thierry Sabine Organization, headed by Thierry Sabine's father. Moreover, after winning the World Rally Championship title in 1986 and the subsequent ban on Group B cars, the Peugeot factory team transferred their activities to the Dakar Rally, ushering in a new era in the event and bringing the spirit of WRC to the deserts of Africa. Renowned WRC stars were invited to pilot their prototypes, including former world champion Ari Flying Finn Vatanen. The team deployed 30 mechanics and an enormous supply of spare parts, preparing a practically new car each night for the day. Ari Vatanen exhibited an incredibly fast driving style, tackled the marathon rally as a series of sprint-type rallies, and fought a hard battle every day. The Mitsubishi Motors team relied on the trustworthiness of the race-proved Pajeros to thwart Peugeot's purpose campaign. However, the Japanese hopes were dashed. Well-prepared rivals faced almost no technical problems, and Peugeot's investments paid off as they conquered the desert on their first attempt, with Ari Vatanen securing a confident first place. Mitsubishi found consolation in third place, achieved by Japanese driver Kenjiro Shinizuka. In 1988, Mitsubishi Motors continued to improve the Pajero prototypes. However, it became evident that, based on the ladder frame structure of mass-produced vehicles, the car did not reach the level of Peugeot's prototypes that used a tubular frame structure. They simply couldn't keep up with Peugeot's prototypes, including the new 405, driven by Ari Vatanen, and the 205 Turbo 16, driven by Juha Kaganen. The 10th anniversary Dakar was marked by a strange incident involving Vatanen's stolen car. Although the car was later returned, he couldn't start on time and was excluded from the rally. Kaganen made his first appearance at the event, took the lead, and won the rally, confirming the endurance and speed he displayed in his participation in the WRC. Shinizuka took second place overall, moving up one position from the previous year. The Mitsubishi team continued to refine the existing prototype. However, the competitiveness of the Pajero was significantly limited by its basis as a prototype derived from a production vehicle, whereas Peugeot's vehicle was a prototype developed to Group B Rally Championship specifications. As a result, Peugeot continued its streak of victories in 1989 and 1990. However, the Japanese had an ace up their sleeve. Over the last 2 years, they had been concurrently working on a secret research project, the Okazaki Proto. By Dakar 1991, they had completed the preparation of a completely new prototype and even managed to test it under real conditions, achieving victory in the Australian Safari. Built around a lightweight multi-tubular space frame chassis, the car featured independent suspension inherited from the previous model. Engine power was boosted to 320 horsepower. Significant aerodynamic work was done, especially on the rear end. The old gearbox was replaced with a 6-speed X-Track transmission. David was ready to take on Goliath. However, after 4 impressive consecutive victories, Peugeot decided to end their Dakar program. Nonetheless, the corporate leadership decided to leverage their accumulated experience and technologies to promote another brand within their group, Citroën. Utilizing many developments from the Peugeot 205 and 405 T16, Citroën introduced the ZX Rally Raid model. Henri Vatanen remained the main driver for the French team and aimed to win another overall victory. Still, like any new vehicle, the Pajero prototypes encountered reliability problems, particularly with the driveshaft. During the development of the 1992 model, a strong emphasis was placed on improving reliability, and finally, everything came together. Right from the start of that year's Dakar, the team of drivers in the Pajero showed the best times and took the lead. In a dominant style, they managed to maintain their lead, increasing the gap ahead of pursuing Citroën. Hubert Oriol secured victory in the overall standings. Behind him finished Erwin Weber and Kenjiro Shinazuka, marking the second Pajero victory since 1985, with a stunning 1-2-3 finish. In 1993, the Dakar Rally faced challenging times, as the number of participants sharply dropped to 159 due to political instability and safety concerns across the African continent, alongside the emergence of the Paris-Beijing Rally through Eurasia. However, Citroën, the main rival, remained in contention, and in a fierce battle between 5 Pajeros and 4 Citroën ZXs, Mitsubishi driver Bruno Sabi emerged victorious, securing the Japanese manufacturer's 3rd win. But then a bad streak began. In the following 2 years, Citroën prototypes achieved decisive victories. In 1994, the judges made a controversial decision to cancel the difficult special stage, nicknamed Dunes of Death by the participants, at a moment when only the Mitsubishi drivers had managed to overcome it after 30 hours of effort. Mitsubishi Motors team director Ulrich Bremer decided to withdraw all the prototypes from the race for safety reasons related to drivers' and navigators' fatigue. And in 1995, Bruno Sabi, fighting for the lead, damaged his suspension. The year 1996 is considered the end of the era of old-school prototypes. Organizers aimed to create more equal conditions for participants by transitioning to using production vehicles, which also reduced costs and made the competition more accessible to different teams, while also making it more attractive to spectators and sponsors. As a result, the history of the Pajero prototypes, which had continued since 1985, finally came to an end with the 1996 model. The intense rivalry with French prototypes was also nearing its conclusion. In the final showdown for the prototypes, the Citroën team, who had announced its withdrawal from the discipline after that year's Dakar, resolutely aimed for a victorious end to its fight against the Pajero prototypes in order to leave a lasting impression in the event. From the start, the Pajero prototypes faced setbacks. Shinazuka damaged his suspension, Sabi was forced to retire after overturning his car, and Matsuoka went off the track when trying to avoid a local truck that appeared in his way on a special stage. As a result, Citroën prototypes secured 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th places. Mitsubishi's best performer was Fontenay, taking 3rd place overall. Citroën managed to leave undefeated. In 1997, the 4-wheel drive category of the Dakar Rally entered a new era. The event regulations banned prototypes and at the same time completely prohibited turbocharged gasoline engines. In response to this new challenge, Mitsubishi Motors introduced the newly developed T2 specification Pajero, based on the 2nd generation of the production short wheelbase Pajero. After Citroën's departure, the most formidable rivals were the 2-wheel drive buggies built by former World Sports prototype car champion Jean-Louis Schlesser from France. Their strength lay in their overwhelming top speed on high-speed flat sections, but the marathon, of course, was dominated by medium-speed special stages with altitude changes. Thus began Mitsubishi's era of total domination. In 1997, in his 12th year of participation in the event, Kenjiro Shinizuka became the first Japanese driver to achieve overall victory. Fontenay, Sabi, and Matsuoka finished behind him. For the first time in history, one manufacturer claimed the top 4 positions. In the following year, to enhance the vehicle without violating FIA regulations, Mitsubishi released a limited edition of the Pajero Evolution. The front and rear tracks were widened, and a double wishbone independent suspension was adopted at the rear. The body was equipped with over fenders and an aluminum bonnet with an air scoop. The car was powered by a new 3.5-liter gasoline engine with the Myvic valve timing electronic control system. In my personal opinion, this was the most impressive civilian model genuinely prepared to conquer the desert, rather than just a vehicle with badges attached. Thanks to this model, Mitsubishi Motors clinched their 5th overall victory, occupying the top 4 positions for the 2nd consecutive year. In 1999 and 2000, the Schlesser buggies won, with Jean-Louis himself managing to win in buggy of his own design. In 2001, Mitsubishi took revenge. Jutta Kleinschmidt, behind the wheel of a Pajero, secured first place, becoming the first woman to win the Dakar. In 2002, the FIA updated the technical regulations. In the new class called Super Production Cars, body homologation requirements were removed, and tubular frame structures were also allowed. It could be said that this was the return of prototypes. Due to technical problems among the competitors, Mitsubishi drivers only competed among themselves. As a result, Matsuoka became the 2nd Japanese driver to win the Dakar Rally, and the Mitsubishi Motors team achieved a stunning result, occupying 9 out of the top 10 positions. The following year, the Mitsubishi Motors team introduced the Pajero Evolution, a completely new car that utilized the technological knowledge accumulated from the Dakar Rally and was based on the design of a concept car presented at the 2001 Frankfurt Motor Show. In addition to the experienced Matsuoka and Fontenay, the lineup of main drivers was refreshed, with 6-time Dakar winner on motorcycles, Stefan Petterhansel, and former World Rally champion Miki Biazin. As in the previous year, the main battle unfolded between teammates Matsuoka and Petterhansel. Matsuoka fell behind by more than 25 minutes due to a series of punctures. However, the day before the finish, Petterhansel hit a rock and damaged the front suspension. This led to a dramatic outcome, with Matsuoka taking first place, securing his 2nd consecutive victory. The Japanese automaker achieved its 8th and 3rd consecutive win in the rally. In 2004, Stefan Petterhansel, who had won an unprecedented 6 times in the motorcycle category, achieved his long-awaited first victory in the 4-wheel vehicle category. He became only the 2nd person to win the Dakar Rally in both the car and motorcycle categories after Hubert Oriol. He repeated his success in 2005, but in 2006, he crashed into a tree on the side of the track, damaged his suspension, and was out of the fight for victory. His teammate, Luc Alphon, won that year. For the Mitsubishi Motors team, which had consistently taken on the Dakar Rally since the 1983 event, the 2007 event marked its 25th year of participation. The best gift for the team was a double victory by Petterhansel and Alphon. Mitsubishi Motors, with a total of 12 victories, cemented its status as the most successful manufacturer in Dakar. In 2008, the Paris-Dakar Rally was cancelled due to the threat of terrorist attacks in Africa. In 2009, the Dakar Rally moved from Africa to South America. For the new Dakar Rally, Mitsubishi Motors developed a new version of the super production racing Lancer, utilizing the accumulated technologies applied to the Pajero. Aiming for an 8th consecutive victory and to increase their total number of wins to 13, the Mitsubishi Motors team assembled strong and experienced drivers such as Matsuoka, Petterhansel, Alphon, and Roma. However, the new world proved to be a real challenge, and primarily due to technical problems, all Mitsubishi drivers were out of the fight. The Volkswagen team celebrated a resounding victory, finishing in 1st and 2nd places. Unfortunately, after 2009, Mitsubishi announced the termination of its participation in the Dakar Rally. During the global economic crisis that began in the late 2000s, automotive companies faced financial difficulties and subsequent cuts to budgets for marketing and sports programs. As for the production model Pajero, the 4th generation, which was produced for a full 15 years, concluded its journey in 2021. It's officially unknown whether we'll ever see the release of a 5th generation. Despite the Pajero no longer being in production, its legend continues to live on. Perhaps in the future, we'll witness the return of the King of the Desert.